My Sister the Vampire, Book 1, Switched. Chapter 1. Here we go. Olivia about thought as her mother's car pulled away from the curb. Olivia stood on the sidewalk and smoothed the skirt of her new pink dress for the millionth time. She usually felt her best in pink, but for some reason it wasn't helping at all this morning. Olivia wished she didn't feel so nervous. After all, it wasn't like this was the cheerleading nationals or anything. It was just the first day of 8th grade at a new middle school in an unfamiliar town where she didn't know anybody. She was totally freaked out. If it wasn't for her dad's new job, she'd she'd be skipping into her regular school with Mimi and Kara and the rest of the old squad, instead of being a friendless new girl who shows up out of nowhere 5 weeks into the school year. But whatever. Olivia was determined to make the best of the situation. This would be just like the first time she ate sushi. It would be weird for a second, unfamiliar and slightly funny smelling, but then she would grow to love it. Besides, what was she going to do? Cry until high school? Olivia stood up straight and clapped her hands twice at the beginning of a cheer. Then, with her mouth set in a smile, she made her way bravely towards the front entrance. Oh, where was I? Her old school had been a modern box painted with a combination of ugly beige and ugly brown, but Franklin Grove Middle School was different. It looked 1,000 years old. Ivy dripped from the huge entryway columns, and beyond the enormous oak front doors was the hallway, so big you could make 16-person pyramid across it. Olivia's old school was plastered with inspirational posters with sayings that made no sense, like live every day like it's today. Here, black and white school. Here, black and white photographs hung on the walls, dating back to practically the Ice Age. She passed one picture with the plaque that said Convocations 1912. It showed a bunch of serious looking students in black robes. At least the sound of everyone rushing to their first class was familiar. Lockers clanging, sneakers squeaking, people laughing. Olivia made her way through the bustle. There seemed to be a lot more goths than her than there had been at her old school. There were as black and white as the photographs on the wall: black clothes, pale skin, heavy black boots. Olivia caught her own reflection in a display case. Her pretty dress floated ghost-like in front of the tarnished trophies and the dark banners that said, "Go Franklin Grove Devils." She tried to keep a smiling, but her heart fell. She looked like a lollipop in a graveyard. What if she never managed to fit in here? Rise and shine, a voice interrupted, startling Olivia, realizing she was standing right in the way of a goth girl. A, a prickled bun on top of the girl's head was held in place of wooden spikes. Cool, Olivia thought. A chopstick. She wore a black dress with a neat slanted hem at the that started just above one knee and ended on the opposite ankle. Olivia stepped to the left, trying to get out of the way, but the girl had the same idea. They both stepped in the other direction. Then they both stepped back. Olivia laughed apologetically, but the girl just looked at her in a weird way. It wasn't mean or anything. She just looked curious, sort of like an inquisitive black cat. I do, the girl began, frowning. Are you new here? How can you tell? Olivia asked jokingly. So you're probably looking for the office, right? The girl replied with the faintest smile. Another goth in a black t-shirt that said Hop Bunny Hop in pink letters pulled up a digital camera hanging around her neck. The first girl nodded to her friend before pointing to Olivia in the right direction. To the end, around the corner, office is on. It's on the right. Olivia had been going the wrong way completely. Thanks, she said sheepishly. I probably would have been wandering the halls looking for the principal's office until I had got sent to the principal's office for wandering the halls. To her relief, both goths cracked a smile. Then the one with the stick in her hair looked at Olivia like she was trying to remember something. Finally, she shrugged. Well, good luck. And with that, she and her friend walked off down the hall. The office was exactly where the girl said it would be. Have a seat there, the gray-haired receptionist said. Principal Whitehead will be with you in just a minute. Olivia turned around and saw a chair next to where the girl with the long, soft, curly blonde hair was sitting, right, reading a thick, battered paperback. She wore jeans with a yellow t-shirt, and on the floor at her feet was a canvas bag with a button strap that said alien spawn people are people too. Finally, Olivia thought, someone who isn't wearing black. She walked over and held out a hand. Hi, Olivia About. The girl lifted her eyes from the book. Looked confused. No, actually, my name is Camilla. Camilla Edmondson. Olivia laughed. No, I mean, my name's Olivia. She exclaimed. Nice to meet you, Camilla. She exclaimed, Nice to meet you, Camilla. Camilla made an I'm such a dork face and shook Olivia's hand. Sorry, I'm just really into this book. Olivia sat down. Isn't it the best when you get so caught up in a book that you're like in a different world? I know, said Camilla eagerly. She held up the cover of her paperback, Random Access by Cole Knightley, the second book in the Cyborg trilogy. Ever read it? Nope. Is it any good? Olivia asked. Are you kidding? Camilla cried. This is my third time through. That's exactly how I am with Count Vera books, Olivia sighed. You know, vampires. Blood sucking, thrilling colors. They're sort of my secret vice. Don't worry, Camilla grinned. Your secret's safe with me. As long as you don't tell anyone, I can speak the cyborg beta language. Olivia laughed. It's a deal. The principal appeared, looking like school principals everywhere. Bald headed, short sleeved, bad tie. Olivia about, he said. Welcome to Franklin Grove. Ivy Vega. Oh, okay. Now we're at Ivy Vega could have bitten her best friend Sophia for abandoning her at as they got to social studies. So what if they were almost late? That didn't mean Sophia had to rush to her desk the moment they arrived, leaving Ivy zombified in the doorway. As the second bell rang, Ivy clutched at the dark emerald ring hanging on a charm around her neck, hoping it would ward off her fear like a magical amulet. As if it had been 3 weeks since Miss Starling assigned seats, and Ivy still felt like she was caught in a direct sunlight without any sunblock, sitting at a desk next to drop dead Brendan Daniels each morning was torture, quite enjoyable torture, admittedly, but still. She forced herself to put one foot in front of the other, shooting Sophia her meanest look, the death squint as she crept past Sophia rolled her eyes. Uh, Ivy pulled Ivy pulled the long wooden spike out of her bun as she sat down, then peered out at Brandon from behind the curtain of dark hair. He was utterly goth, gorgeous in every way. Skin the color of pure white marble, high cheekbones that made dark valleys in his face, curly black hair that hung near his shoulders. Her heart convulsed. She was sure she'd turn into dust if they'd ever exchange a single word. He clicked his mechanical pencil. I'm going to fail this class, thought Ivy. How can I concentrate on a single thing when he's so close? A, a sing-song voice interrupted her thoughts. After I win the cheerleading tryouts and become squad captain of the Devils, I'm totally going to be the best cheer ever, said Charlotte Brown. Kill me now, Ivy thought. Ivy could think. Kill me now, Ivy thought. Ivy only could think of only one thing more painful than unrequited love, and it was hearing Charlotte Brown babble on about herself. I'm already so much better than my big sister, Charlotte twittered, and she's like co-captain of varsity squad at Franklin High. Maybe I'll be your co-captain, one of Charlotte's minions said brightly. Maybe I won't have a co-captain, she replied Charlotte coolly. It was one thing to get assigned a seat next to Brandon Daniels and die of embarrassment, but it was another thing altogether to get seated behind Charlotte Brown and die of boredom. listening to her endless, dumb, mean-spirited chatter. Charlotte and her lemmings had been yammering on about cheerleading tryouts nonstop. Since the first day of school, Ivy pushed her hair behind her ears and pulled out her notebook. She angled herself away from Brendan. If she couldn't spend eternity with him, she could at least use the time productively and turn to the back page where she jotted her ideas for the school paper. Former Franklin Grove cheerleading captain. Where are they now? She wrote. Let's see, she thought. There are Carly, who was now a cashier at Food Mark, and Melidia Wilstock. My cat. What is it? What? Come here. Melidia Wilstock, who got crowned Miss Reveline at the auto show last year. Hi! Auto show last year, but still lived with her parents and couldn't get a regular job. And Ivy realized that the room had suddenly gone quiet. She stopped writing. Class, Miss Starling announced. I'd like to introduce you to a new member of Franklin Grove community. Beside Starling stood the girl in the pink dress. Ivy got the same weird feeling she had when she had first seen her in the hall, like déjà vu, mixed with indigestion. Her name is Olivia About, Miss Sterling explained. She's just moved here from the coast. Ivy put her hands on her necklace and twirled her ring as she watched the new girl at the front of the room. Olivia's long brown hair was pulled back in a ponytail. Her dress was seriously pink, and she wasn't the kind of person who would normally attract Ivy's attention. So why did Ivy feel like she was looking at someone who she had met before? Olivia was given the desk near the front, probably because, once again, Miss Starling was determined to ruin Ivy's life using ancient curse of assigned seating. No matter how she craned her neck, Ivy was unable to catch another glimpse of the new girl's face. In between trying to learn about the legislative branch of government and trying to look cool and beautiful in case Brendan was looking at her, Ivy tried to figure out how she knew Olivia About. She decided to list all possibilities in her notebook: kindergarten, elementary school, dance camp, summer retreat, meet and greet, diner, costume ball, mall. Finally desperate, Ivy wrote TV. There weren't many people Ivy knew who Sophia wouldn't recognize as well, so Ivy tore the blank corner from one page and passed the note to her friend while Miss Sterling was writing on the blackboard. Sophia's response came at once. Are you kidding? She's too pink for us to know. She'd drawn one of her bunny cartoons at the bottom. Love your fur, one bunny said. Pink is totally my natural color, replied another, which had a ribbon in its hair. Ivy tried to clock her laughter with a fake cough, but resulting in rattle was seriously grave. Brandon probably thought she sounded like a cat coughing up a hairball. Ivy saw Olivia raise her hand to ask a question. Do we have to type the assignment? Even her voice sounded familiar. Ivy was more certain than ever that there was something strange about the girl in the pink. There was something strange about the girl in the pink dress. When the bell rang, Ivy waited for Brandon to leave before she got up. She and Sophia were headed back to their lockers when Sophia nudged her arm and said, "Looks like the new bunny's around to be the roadkill." Down the hall, Olivia Bout was standing by the bathroom surrounded by four boys in black heavy metal t-shirts. Oh no, thought Ivy. It was the beast. Before she knew what she was doing, Ivy was rushing towards the group. "New meat," she heard one of the boys say. "Yeah," another beast chuckled, like with ketchup. "I wonder if she likes horror movies." They all gulped. Olivia, without a smile on her face. Their eyes met over the boy's shoulder. Olivia looked half confused, half scared. Ivy clenched her teeth night as her witness. There was no way she was going to let this girl be eaten alive by the biggest goth losers at Franklin. "Buzz off and die, beast," she growled, shoving them aside, stepping in front of Olivia. "Go haunt a convenience store parking lot. What's your problem, Vega?" "You're my problem, rat. Now put a stake in it." "Now put a stake in it." Ivy unleashed her death squint. "I said buzz off." The beast laughed uncomfortably before slinking away down the hall. "I'm so happy you showed up," Olivia blurted. "I don't even know your name, and you're already my favorite person." Ivy introduced herself. "And don't worry about the beasts," she said. "They're harmless. They act all grave, but they're not nearly as scary as they smell." You sure seem to know how to handle them," Olivia remarked. "Yeah, well, I better," Ivy said. "I'm going to have to put up with them forever." Olivia laughed. "Anyways, thank you for the second time today, Ivy Vega. I'm really grateful." That strange feeling rushed back over Ivy with a force so powerful she nearly stumbled all at once. She realized with the new girl looked so familiar. She looked a lot like me, Ivy thought. More than a lot, she looks exactly like me. A wave of nausea hit her, and her knees trembled. She was either going to throw up or faint. Right in the middle of the hall, Brandon would see her splayed out on the floor, her face whiter than bone, her black stockings legs twisted like a doll. Olivia was still talking, but the roar in Ivy's head was too loud for her to hear. Later, Ivy croaked, and quick as a bat, she flew into the girls' bathroom.